Today we're talking about when the INFJ gets out of a depressive state, this is what happens. The INFJ tends to get into depressive moods because of the way we're set up. It's actually one and the same scenario every single time. It's not that we're all the same. I don't even think that at all. But the way our depression really comes out in most cases is that we go overboard into our introverted functions. We do the NITI loop, and we do it to such an extreme case that at some point we have maybe even a reality break, that we completely neglect our day-to-day life, and we get stuck at that place. And once you're there, it's really hard to get out. And a lot of us have experienced this because it really is the NITI loop manifested. It's something that continuously happens. You go NITI, NITI, and there is no way out. This manifests as you saying, okay, I have an understanding about the world, about a person, about a situation, and I'm trying to make sense of it. Why isn't it working the way I thought it should, right? You continuously think it through, you don't have any new information, and it just drives you crazy pretty much. And one of the things we mainly do at this moment is that we go even more into reclusion. That we say, oh, I'm going to listen to music, I'm going to follow my, visions, I'm going to follow my feelings, because it's sort of like a drug. You are in your own world, you can feel good there for a moment, and you can just neglect what is not working out in your favor. But at some point we recognize that this is not the way to go. It's something that really keeps us stuck, something that makes us really unhappy, and that's when the INFJ, breaks out. That's when a lot of people do, like, let's say, door slam situations on others. There's like this rush, but very often it happens from a place of, okay, I've fallen down so much that now I just have to be the phoenix that rises from the ashes. And it takes a lot of power to get to that place. But once you start taking the action, there's a lot of euphoria. So we're going to talk about what happens when we're finally able to get out of that depressive state. Is it something that's going to stay, or is it something that we have to be careful about because it might not get us to the place we actually want to be at, and we might also fall back down? What are we going to do then? We're going to get into that in detail. Remember though, if you haven't done this so far, to download the poster on the 5 pillars to an INFJ epic life. Those are guidelines that will definitely help you to get out of a depressive state in a healthy way. And if you want to take it to the next level, then get the audio guide, because there you really understand the strategy behind taking the actions that will make a big shift in your life. All the information you find in links in the description. Just a quick disclaimer, we're of course talking about depressive states. If you've been in a full-blown depression, please get the help that you need. This is self-help that has worked for, so many INFJs that I've worked with, but don't underestimate if you've had like real big trauma in your life and you feel like I cannot handle this right now. Get the help you need, okay? So what happens? So we've gotten to this place where, it's gotten so bad that then we go into the other direction. We're so sick and tired of being sick and tired that we finally start taking action. And that's when things shift. When we say, okay, I just need to cut this out. I need to go into my extroverted world. I need to, create a life for myself. I'm going to take action, for example, in the way the 5 pillars are described. And a lot of INFJs feel a lot of euphoria at that moment. And I've experienced this in boot camp as well, because you see how you feel lighter, you feel excited, you feel just full of life and full of hope, which is an amazing feeling, right? It's all about, I'm not going to stay in my head, I'm actually going to connect to the real world, because my imagination isn't really giving me anymore what I was hoping for. Like, there's just nothing to be gained there. The problem with this is that this euphoria has come from a place of, okay, my imagination was so bad that I have no other choice but to go into the other direction. And then I feel good. But at some point, you will have gotten out of this big black hole that you were in, right? This dark cloud over your head. And then you don't have the drive to continue down the path that has led you this far. And this is something that is not a question of if it will happen, it's always a question of when it will happen. That's why every single time I work with somebody and they experience this, when I see this in boot camp, this is the first thing I say. Please be aware this feeling will come back. Don't be afraid of it. We have a strategy. It's totally normal. But if you don't expect it and you feel like, yeah, that's not going to happen to me, I've now changed. I'm a new person. Like, I know I'm never going to get back to that place where I used to. And if this is the way you approach it, you will be surprised and it will catch you off guard and you will just say, oh, it was all just a fluke. Because for every single person, the truth that we're experiencing at that moment is the only truth. So if you're in a depressive state, that's the only truth. That the world is dark, that you have a cloud over your head, that nothing is going to work out, that it's just like a sad existence. If you're in this euphoric state, that's the only thing that exists for you. Oh, that's the truth. I'm always going to be this happy. I'm always going to be that excited. You know, I don't even question it. I'm not even thinking about how I used to feel, 4 weeks ago. That was just some fluke, right? And so at some point, guess what? Life will happen. You will fall into old patterns that just are, engraved in you. Because if for years you've gone down a certain road, little things will get you back to that place. It will happen. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Our goal, though, is to actually be above that. To know, okay, now I feel I have a dark cloud over my head. Or now I feel like everything is great and I have this euphoric high. But those are my thoughts. Those are my emotions. I'm not my thoughts and I'm not my emotions. I can observe both those scenarios. And I know that if I want to be in that euphoric state more often, then I have to actively take action to get me back up there, right? And so if you fall off, you definitely have to know this. Not to get afraid, not to say, okay, now this is the only truth that exists, because it isn't, right? It is not. You decide what your truth is going to be. And the way you do that is to say, okay, what did I do last time that got me out of there? Because right now, I'm not in a position how I was last time where I just had no other choice, where being in my head was so horrible that I just had to take action to get out of it. Now it's like, it's not that great, but it's not as bad as it used to be, so I'm not willing to take that kind of action that I was taking before. So when you're in this state, it's super important to remember, okay, what did I do last time that got me to a better place? How can I take action that will get me back there? Simple things you can do are just listening to music that uplifted you the first time, listening to motivational videos that got you back up there the first time, and then taking small actions. We talked about it in the last video, right? It's all about taking consistent small actions that create a new identity for you, right? Where you say, I am a person who's 95% of the time in a positive state. When I first started this, I really was working up this tolerance for, being happy, because I was so miserable for such a long time. I had cultivated it. It had become my identity. So it was really hard for me to get to a positive state for 5 minutes. And I was really pushing for it. And then once I was able to do it for 5 minutes and I fell off again, let's say the next day I said, okay, now I'm going to stay in a positive state for 10 minutes. And that's how I pushed myself. And before I knew it, the tables turned. Before I knew it, it was way easier for me to be in that positive state more of the time. And if some old patterns would, emerge, they wouldn't get me off my path so easily. Right? Because I've already created such a strong identity on who I was going to be, on how I wanted to feel. So it was way easier for me to get back there than, to get back to that place where I didn't want to be. So it's super important for us INFJs to know that just because you come out of a depressive state, you cannot rely on it just to stay this way. You have to be a little bit more strategic about it. You have to remember that you are actually one level above this. You are above your feelings and your thoughts about how your current reality is. Because if you fall back into, like, let's say negative patterns, you have to have the authority over those thoughts and over those feelings and say, I'm going to choose to think differently. I'm going to choose to feel differently. It might feel like a lie right now, but I know that's just something I'm telling myself, right? I can tell myself the world is a bad place. I can tell myself the world is a good place. I'm definitely going to be happier if I tell myself the world is a good place in a way where, you know, I do good things and I make others have a better life, whatever it may be, your friends, your neighbors, just by you exuding positivity is definitely better than you thinking, oh, it all sucks and you're not doing anything about it anyway, right? So don't fear this. Don't try to avoid it. Don't try like thinking, oh, now all your troubles are gone. You still have to stay in the driver's seat. You have to guide your thoughts. But the great thing about this is it's not going to be that hard forever. I can promise you this. If you've been building this road all your life towards that negative path, of course it's going to require more energy to push yourself to a more positive, you know, direction and to a more positive outlook on life. And guess what? It's not just an outlook. You actually change your life. Right? It's not about like you have this shitty job and then you just say, oh, I'm going to look at my job as something great. No, it's about understanding, oh, I'm grateful for that job because it gives me the opportunity to, you know, live in this apartment, go on a vacation once a year, whatever it may be. But I know I deserve better. And that's why I'm going to go for better. It's a completely different situation than just, you know, lying to yourself and being okay with a situation that isn't okay for you, right? So in conclusion, the more often you cast a vote towards the person you want to be, the happy version of you, the excited version of you, the version of you that takes action and takes responsibility for your life and your future, the easier it's going to be to stay in that state. Because if I thought it was going to require that much strength of mine continuously, I don't know if I would have been up for it. But it really was that I said, okay, all I'm focusing on is that moment. How can I make this moment better again? I know I felt good 2 days ago. I can do this again. And because of that, I was able to cultivate this new identity around being happy, about being excited about life, about being proactive about life. And it feels so much better that you hold on to it so much stronger. It's totally okay to fall off. Remember, it's always 3 steps forward, 1 step back. You cannot expect anything else and you shouldn't. Because if you avoid it, if you say, oh, that's never going to happen to me again, this will actually hold you back. Because once you fall off, you will be scared. You will think, oh no, I won't get back up. Like that was all a fluke. And it might really paralyze you. But if you're prepared, and if you're prepared, especially when you're in this positive state, you can then use all of the knowledge you've gathered to help you to get out of that, you know, negative spiral once you fall back into it. Remember, if you want some more guidelines, what kind of steps to take to get you out, then get the poster on the 5 pillars to an INFJ Epic Life. And if you want to take it to the next level, then get the INFJ Epic Life audio guide. All the information on these things you find in the links in the description. And if you want to watch another video now that is in alignment with today's topic, then watch the video How the INFJ Uses Their Dark Side to Their Advantage.